I'd scripted a video today about dogs and their impact on our health, on our well-being, emotionally and physically. Dogs, even grumbly dogs, are the ultimate companions. Just being around them, just petting them, looking at them releases oxytocin in our bodies. That's the connection chemical, the bonding chemical. It increases our calm, it increases our connection, and it's a wonderful thing. Not only that, but being around dogs reduces our cortisol levels. Cortisol is the stress hormone, so the less of that, the better. So dogs really help us there too. Petting a dog, being with a dog, can actually lower our heart rate, it can lower our blood pressure. So just being around dogs can be an incredible positive thing. However, dogs will impact your life in so many ways that you couldn't necessarily anticipate, and in ways that people don't always discuss. So that's what I wanted to explore today. Dogs are fantastic companions. We can rely on them to be there for us. They're always around. They're always happy to see us, whether we've been away for 4 seconds or 4 hours. They will give you the same enthusiastic greeting, and it's just joyous. They're social, we're social, so it's infectious. We co-regulate with our dogs co-regulate with us. And we see this all the time. If we're happy and celebrating and dancing, our dog will join in and celebrate with us. Do you want to come on my knee? Even when they've no idea what it is that's making us so happy. And when we're sad, our dogs can pick up on it. Just this morning, I was having a bit of a wobble, thinking about someone close to me that I'd lost several years ago. And I got a little bit upset. And Colby was sleeping, but he sussed out that something was wrong. Oh, my darling. He looked at me. He was concerned. His little paw touched me. Come here, and if you want to come on my knee? Come on then. Okay. Colby wants to sit on my knee. So what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Companionship. Dogs make fantastic companions. They just love to spend time with us. Sometimes a little bit too much. It's not always convenient, but we love it. And that's a wonderful thing. But of course, the flip side of that is that our dogs also rely on us for companionship. They also co-regulate with us. So it's important that we look after our own mental health, because our dogs pick up on how we're feeling. So we need to take care of ourselves so that our dogs can feel safe and know that everything's okay, because they'll co-regulate with us. It means that there's a lot of responsibility on our plate, because our dogs rely on us for companionship, and they can't go and get that elsewhere. They can't go out and see their mates. They rely on us to take them or to give them that companionship. And I don't say either of those things to make you feel guilty, but it's easy to forget just how reliant on us that dogs are, and also how important it is for our dogs' well-being, not to just take care of them, but to take care of our own well-being as well. And of course, the other flip side to the companionship of dogs is that the price that we pay for love is grief. And there will come a day when your relationship with your dog ends, because their lifespan is tragically short compared to ours. And we will see times when they're struggling, times when they're in pain. And that's a difficult thing to go through. And you often feel very powerless with it. Is it worth it for the time that you get to spend with your dog and for the joy that they bring? I would say yes. But it's not something to be taken lightly or disregarded, because it's a huge thing and it has a huge impact on our lives. What other effects do our dogs have on our well-being? Well, they give us a sense of purpose. They give us a reason to get out of bed in the morning. Dogs need structure and routine. We need to give them some structure and routine, not rigid routine, but they have certain needs, certain rhythms. Just the fact that you feel needed, just the fact that you've got a responsibility to this little life, and because you've got things that you enjoy together, it can give you a sense of purpose. It can give you a sense of responsibility, which can sometimes be difficult, but can also be a wonderful thing. And it can give you structure to your life if you tend to be a bit chaotic or procrastinate. Dog's not going to stand for that. Giving you structure, giving you a reason to get out of bed in the morning, all wonderful things. But of course, then the flip side is you can end up having a feeling of overwhelm. You can have a feeling of guilt that you're not providing well enough for your dog's needs. And there's a pressure to be okay for them, which can be useful for getting you out of a rut. But at the same time, it's also an added pressure that can add to overwhelm. It can be a wonderful thing. It can also be a very difficult thing. But most things worth doing are not easy. But again, it's something to bear in mind if you're considering adopting a dog. Now, we know that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mental health issues as even medications in a lot of cases. That's not something I've made up. That's something that has been said many times in scientific studies and by therapists. And of course, if you have a dog, you have to take them for regular walks. You have to get out. You have to exercise. So while it's easy to procrastinate or think I'll start tomorrow if it's just you, if you've got this little dog relying on you, then that's a great encouragement. You need to do it. Time outdoors spent in nature is also really good for your well-being. Not only does it have a fantastic impact on your mental health, but you're getting more vitamin D, and it's just a really worthwhile thing to do and fun. Dogs give you fun. So all of this helps with mood regulation as well as your general physical well-being. Of course, the downsides are that you have to walk your dog in all weathers. Even when it's freezing cold, even when it's rainy, your dog needs to go out. The only caveat I would add here is that your dog should not be walked when it's too hot. It can be literally dangerous for your dog. Dogs can succumb to heat stroke quite easily. And that also has an impact on your mental health because when the sun's shining, a lot of people want to be outside. And if you can't be outside, because it's dangerous for your dog, then you need to be prepared to accept that. Colby agrees. Another thing to consider is what if you develop mobility issues or illness or burnout. There can still be a pressure on you if you don't have help available that you need to exercise your dog. And I've been going through this a bit because I'm having mobility problems and foot pain at the moment, which we're working on. But I can't walk him as far or as long as I'd like. Of course, you can pay for a dog walker if you can afford one or get friends and family to help out while things get better. And there are other things you can do by giving your dog plenty of enrichment indoors and going out with your dog and not necessarily walking very far, but just spending time outdoors, maybe sitting, playing games, doing enrichment. So it's not necessarily the end of the world, but it does make things a bit more difficult and it adds pressure when you might already be experiencing pain and mobility issues. Another way that dogs can affect our well-being that's often overlooked because it's sort of an indirect result, and that's that when you have a dog, it opens up all sorts of social avenues that were otherwise closed to you. We have a regular routine where we go to the park at similar times each day, and you end up seeing the same people every day. You start saying hello to them, you start having a little chat to them. People will stop you and ask if they can pet your dog because he's cute, and you get into little conversations. Or the same dog walkers have a similar routine and you end up meeting them every day and you become friends with them. Your dogs become friends with their dogs, and it can be a really lovely way to open up your social interactions with the wider world. Additionally, if you do training classes, agility classes, obedience classes, that can be a great way to meet people with similar interests. And there's events like pop-up cafes for specific breeds. They can be fun as well. However, it can be really challenging if you have a dog that has behavioural issues, such as anxiety or reactivity for whatever reason. You might find yourself having to walk at times where you can avoid other people or avoid other dogs or take really secluded walks. And that can feel really isolating, at least for the time being, while you can address the fears and anxieties that your dog has. And it can make going for walks really stressful. And that feeling that you can have of being judged by other people can be very isolating. If your dog is reactive or anxious, you might find yourself being very hypervigilant all the time, looking for triggers and things that might distress your dog. And that will have an impact on your own well-being and your own anxiety, because it puts your nervous system into high alert the whole time. If you are a very introverted person or someone who suffers from social anxiety, I'm not saying that introverts all suffer from social anxiety. I know that's not true. But if you have your own issues with anxiety, getting that attention from people who are drawn towards your dog might be problematic for you. So it's something to think about. And in a similar vein, other behavioural issues can also affect your mental health. Not only if your dog's reactive or anxious, like we just talked about, but if your dog suffers from separation anxiety or separation distress, it can make it very hard for you to leave the house. Or at least if you do leave the house, the worry of coming back to destruction or noise or mess, or your dog being really stressed out, that's going to have an impact on you. And also, if a dog's barking at every sound through the night and disrupting your sleep, sleep's necessary for so many aspects of our health. So if your sleep's being disrupted, then not good news. But most of these problems are fixable, but are not necessarily easy. Dogs can have an impact regarding financial stress. Not only is there the consideration of just the general costs of owning a dog, such as food, insurance, vet's bills, grooming bills. There's things like potential damage to property, especially when you've got an adolescent dog and they're going through the land shark phase and sharpening their teeth on everything they can find. Things are going to need to be fixed and replaced until you get through that. You might find as well that you miss out on working longer hours, which would earn you more money, because you have to get back to your dog, or you're having to pay for doggy daycare or a dog sitter while you earn that money, which is going to make indentations into your financial well-being. There are also other lifestyle limitations. For example, spontaneous plans become much more difficult because you've got a dog waiting for you at home, and they might limit your travel options. You have to go to dog-friendly places, or you have to arrange care for your dog while you're away. A lot of this can lead to feelings of anxiety and guilt because we care about our dogs. On the plus side, dogs can also give us an incredible sense of safety and security. Even the littlest dog can be a fantastic alarm against possible threats, as little klaxon voice here does regularly. It can make you feel less alone at night, or in the day even, and more comfortable that way. They act as little comfort blankets. And dogs can be a great deterrent. If you've got the choice between breaking into a house with a dog and one that's not, you're probably going to go for the easiest option. Scary dog privilege is a real thing. When I used to be walking German Shepherds and Dobermans, you would see people's reactions, and it did make you feel a bit safer. One of the hugest impacts of a dog on your well-being is just fun and joy. Dogs are just such great characters to have around, and they're always ready to do something interesting and exciting, or just cute and cuddly. They can be playful, they make us laugh, they're goofy, they share our joy. They give us an opportunity to be joyful without productivity. They give us an opportunity to forget being a grown-up and just live in the moment. Dogs are fantastic at that. Dogs are the ultimate mindfulness coaches. There are numerous benefits for dogs having children. They are great for emotional regulation. They encourage empathy and responsibility in children. They can comfort children during stress and provide non-judgmental companionship. Studies have shown that children that grow up with companion animals have stronger immune systems. And one study into teenagers, let me see if I can find it. Okay, so there's also some evidence to show that teens who had dogs had more resilient mental health and had different oral microbiome profiles than teenagers who didn't have dogs. Now, it's not necessarily, of course, there'd be more research needed doing into this, but when they gave the microbes from dog-owning teens to laboratory mice, the laboratory mice showed more social and pro-social behaviour than mice given microbes from non-dog owners. How scientists managed to discover this, I'm not quite sure, but I think you'll agree it is really interesting, but it probably requires more research. Anyway, my daughter was an only child, but we adopted our Jack Russell Cross Sonny when my daughter was 3, and they had such a lovely, close relationship. No, a dog isn't a sibling, but it is a wonderful addition to a child's life. But of course, this has to be carried out with proper responsibility and vigilance from the parents. Dogs and children should not be left alone, unsupervised. And every care has to be taken to make sure that you can read your dog's body language really well and prevent any misunderstandings, miscommunications that could result in potentially harmful situations. And the other thing is, of course, is that children grieve very deeply, and the loss of a pet can be so hard for them. But on the other hand, it does teach them something about life and death and the world, and helps them to come to terms with the reality of things. So dogs can be incredibly good for your mental health, as I can definitely confirm with this little munchkin here. But the impact is complex, it's individual and personal, and it's not always straightforward. Life isn't black and white, 100% this or that. It's a mixture, it's the mess. But it's a mess that I want to share with my little dog. And this channel is for people also sharing their mess with their little dog and trying to negotiate a path through that to do it in the happiest way possible. It's been great talking to you. I'll speak to you again soon. Anyway,